make a move and the bunny gets it.
I said, put the bunny back in the box. Why couldn't you put the bunny back in the box?
It's showtime.
Psychically, I'm very well endowed.
I want to know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I want to know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Hey there, this is Coop from Telepathic Bunny Comics. Welcome to the rabbit hole. What's next? Our best unsung creators series, and this gentleman happens to be extraordinarily polite but vicious on social media. Got a weird dichotomy, but great guy to know. Good friend of mine. Let me bring him on, Mr. Mad Ruth. What's up? What's up?
Hey, how's it going, Cooper? Thank you for having me on.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Now, the reason for the delay is not his fault. It's my fault. I was getting everything ready, getting everything uploaded. And next thing I know, I was like, what am I missing? What am I missing? I'm missing my guest,
It's all good. I got a pleasant surprise in the mail today. So remember when Zach did the $1 comic? Your boy
Yeah, I
Zach.
remember.
Comic.
Yeah.
So I backed it because I wanted
Jawbreakers Forever or something.
Yeah. So I backed it because I wanted Rock and Roll Ninja.
Right.
And it came, so I just assumed the dollar comic wasn't coming. It was late. But hey, it was Rock and Roll Ninja I wanted. But I opened up the mail today, and he sent a second package. He sent me that Jawbreakers Forever, and then it's a color comic now. It's not a black and white one. So $1.
Oh,
Look
okay.
at that. So yeah,
there you go.
Pleasantly surprised.
one of his harebrained ideas.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the way to do it.
Decided I guess. Decided not to do back him until I got all my projects in. I finally got all my projects in, but you kind of burned me pretty good. So
yeah, he's all over the map. Yeah.
You'll have to let me know how good it is if it's worth it.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, the last one I got, like 3.5 years late, just wasn't that well written at all. So it is what it is.
It's like
John's pretty much your boy Zach's.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. John's Lost Box said, he made $200K on it, so it can't be that harebrained.
Well, we've all got subpar products that made like 6 and even 7 figures. So just saying, it happens. It happens. Yeah. We got a bunch of comments over here. Let me get caught up right quick before we proceed. Some people evidently came in hot. Let me see here. Mr. John's Loan Box. Hey. Yeah. Okay. That's what you were talking about, I guess. Anyway, I didn't see it. Yeah. Mr. Frost Comics is my favorite intro to every talk show I watch, and ironically. Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm pretty fond of it. Which, considering the relationship I have with the guy who created it for me, I got one good thing out of it. Anyway, that's all I'll say about that. Anyway, hey, I sing Mad Ruth all the time. You sing Mad Ruth? I don't know what he means by that. Okay. Anyway, all right, can be 2. Yep, 200K in the bank. There's a comment. Right. Yeah, to be honest, except for RN, I'm done with Zach's comics. They're just not good. No, they're not. Zach thinks he's a writer, but he's conceptually solid. But everything that he writes, it's like he has no affection for anything in it. He just like murders the shit out of everybody in his comics. I mean, it's like no.
He's another one too. He's starting to hire people to do everything. Like he's in this, they've got like a sub story in there, spice and sugar or something. But it's like drawn by Narwhal, written by Chuck Dixon. So he's another one where he's just hiring everyone to do it for him. Maybe that's the best path. So.
Narwhal writing, I like Narwhal's writing, but it's
Dixon,
bleak.
I think, it's Dixon's writing, Narwhal's art, and Jay Brown's colors. Yeah, it's interesting. So.
Yeah. Well, the space comic, whatever that was called, that Chuck Dixon supposedly wrote, there ain't no Chuck Dixon in that comic. That's all. That is pure Zach.
Okay.
I mean, it's pure Zach.
Impossible Stars.
Yeah, Impossible Stars.
Yeah.
Nobody to love, or nobody to care about, and everybody gets murdered. I mean, it's a Zach comic. I mean, that's just a Zach comic, Everybody's a nihilistic asshole, and everybody gets like slaughtered at the end of it, I mean, I've never read a Chuck Dixon comic like that, so I think he put in the Chuck's name on it. I think Chuck might have put a polish on it or something, but Chuck didn't write that comic. Anyway, it's like I was pleased by delivery day myself arrival of Universal Mummy Collection. Oh. Universal Mummy Collection is awesome. Anything Universal Monster, I'm good. Oh, definitely. Yeah, that new Jawbreakers is a mess. Same with Iron Sights. Whatever happened, I don't know. I don't know. I think he had a ghostwriter at the start because the first books are so much better. Yeah, I write comments. It's a talent. Yeah. Well, he's a great guy to have on your stream. Sugar and salt was bad. It's a poor idea. Gotcha. Sugar and salt. Okay.
Yeah.
That's an odd name. Anyway, but we're not here to talk about Zach's failing empire. Now he's going after the FNT guys. So what the hell, dude? He just wants to be. I mean,
I think that was probably
at the start. Go ahead.
That was probably my biggest thing with getting into this space was getting into other people's fights and arguments. Like I mean, that collectivist mentality, which I think we all realize collectivism isn't the right way to go. But yeah, getting in there and being loud and boisterous and fighting fights that really didn't have anything to do with me in hindsight. I think that's probably the one thing I would change now that I realize that it really is just drama farming, right? And you pick your month in any different way. Two different creators are at each other. So like a couple years ago, I just stopped getting involved. I'm not picking sides. I'm not picking fights. I'm not liking or disliking one creator. Right. The whole thing is juvenile high school, cafeteria stuff. I ain't got time for that.
Well, the enemy of my enemy is not necessarily my friend. Right. That's the hard lesson I had to learn. The enemy of my enemy is sometimes just another enemy for me.
Yeah. Right.
And that's the.
That was a hard lesson.
That's part of the thing.
Yeah.
It's you live, you learn. If you're not learning, you're not living, and that's a whole nother can of worms. Anyway, just did a zombie stream the other day. Anyway,
oh yeah,
yeah. Are zombies still cool? Answer: yes, they are. Always with the drama, right? There you go. We are tribal by nature. I'm constantly trying to fight the urge to join a side. Yeah, me too. I'm a side joiner. I am kind of. I am trying to be more to live up Mike Byrne's words. We win by making better comics. I agree. That's my idea.
There's a couple creators that are really inspiring. Like Mike Barron, definitely one of them. Like he's for real. He's a straight shooter. He reaches out to all of us. You ask him to have you on your show. He'll give you an hour of your time. He's on the chat. He's in the comments. I mean, he genuinely, you can tell he cares and loves comics. Same thing with Michael Bancroft. Yeah. Same thing. I mean, there's a couple people in this space that are really, really awesome to get behind.
Michael Bancroft is the true heart of CG.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If it comes down between him and the Big Frog guy, I'm going with Michael Bancroft every time. I mean, he has everybody on that show. Everybody.
Well, the big thing is just he hasn't changed, right? I mean, how many years we've been at this? He's the same person as he was 8 years ago. Has it been that long?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Obviously. Mike Barron is the best. So is Bancroft. Yeah. I always call Bancroft my channel daddy because he's the one who inspired me to do this channel, and I try to live up to his philosophy of under 10K guys are still valuable, and people that can't like help me move up the ladder or whatever are still valuable and still worth my time, and because you see so many of these people, we had somebody in our chat that we finally got rid of, but she was a cancer. But she was like, I need big channels to go on. And it's like, we were the ones kind of launched her, and then she's suddenly like, I need big channels. So you're not big enough.
You're not big enough now.
Yeah, and it's like no, it's like bitch, but it's what it is.
But yeah, no, definitely. It's like. But that's another one too, is the promotion, realizing like you just assume everyone's just gonna let you on their channel and you're just gonna do it that way. And people might the first time, but people sour very quickly, and definitely building your own channel, building your own network. Again, I didn't as well as I do, I didn't start a YouTube show until after I already launched that book, and I realized, okay, begging people to go on other people's shows really isn't the way to go, right? But yeah, there's a lot of hard lessons in there, definitely. And I mean, we're seeing it. Wewe're seeing with all these creators.
Oh
like, in this
yeah.
space,
Yeah.
trying to get there, and it's not easy to break that 3 to 5K mark, and it's really difficult to hit that 10K mark. You just got to keep getting out there and getting the shows. But yeah, it's networking. I mean, this is all about making those right connections and growing your audience and inspiring and it doesn't work when everyone's at each other's throats constantly. It makes it a lot harder for sure.
No. It just makes me wonder where the hell would we be if the big guys at the top, would have manned up and like collaborated instead of decided that this town's not big enough for the two of us, and
I mean, if it's truly about a love for the medium,
it's like
if it's a love for the medium, you need that
seriously.
new blood. You need those new creators. You need to inspire these new people coming up. You can't just, it's like the dinosaurs, right? Or what do they call it now with the populations around the earth? Population decline because people aren't it's the same thing with comics. Like if all we're gonna do is celebrate the people, from 40, 50, 60 years ago, you give it another 20 or 30 years, like who will they be to carry the torch,
Oh, exactly. And the people that really intrigue me, I mean, everybody is all about the ex-pros, okay, in this spot. And this, let's face it, if you've ever
celebrity,
had a cup of coffee in the if you've ever had a cup of coffee in the big two, it seems like around here you'll go like 1,000 overnight. I mean, freaking Del Keon went over 1,000 subs during a nap,
sleeping,
a drunken. He fell asleep after drinking too much and got over 1,000 people on his channel, and just sat there snoring the whole time and got over 1,000 subs. That shows you, I mean, that people still have like the love for Marvel and DC in their hearts. And so it's almost like they transferred that affection over to these guys that come out of there. And some of them aren't worth your affection. Trust me.
I mean, it's a bit of it thinking outside the box. Like part of doing my own show is I bring on these guests and like some of them, like I've never even heard of them before, but I mean, I'll do my research, right? I'll look up their projects, look at their books, and you'd be surprised the audiences and the shows and the podcasts and comics that are going on that we don't even know about just from not networking, just by not making those connections. But there is a hunger out there, and there are people out there, and there are people interested in the space. It's just, we just all have to work together to grow, I think, for sure.
Oh, we need to start. I mean, if those guys aren't going to work together, we need to start working together.
That's right. Yeah,
that's the thing. Everybody's waiting for those guys to make a move, and I mean, we got FMC setting over here, which is everything that they ever promised, everything they ever promised to make us, and it's sitting there, waiting for everybody to discover it. And I think they're starting to, and they're as IGG's not getting better, guys. It's not coming back. And
it's going to get worse.
Kickstarter is just going to get more and more hostile. Yeah, Kickstarter's just going to get more and more hostile. And go ahead.
Like, I think what happened in 2016, we all remember what happened in 2016, right? Like those on the left, they had a meltdown, right? It's coming again. You're going to see it in 2025. Mark my words, 2024, 2025, you're going to have that huge meltdown and that huge backlash, and we're not welcome. IGG's, like, it's surprising to watch them kicking people off and Kickstarter kicking people off again. But it's all going to ramp up. We're going to be right back there again. And hopefully there will be, hopefully Hollywood overplays themselves like they did with Star Wars. So they didn't learn the lesson. And drive more people to this space, and then we'll see.
Well, it's like I'm saying, it's like we know this in the hurricane area. If the main road is closed, there are all these side roads just sitting there that are suddenly getting a lot of traffic, and these communities that the main road destroyed are suddenly like having people stop by, and that's going to happen. I mean, they're destroying the main road right now, and people are looking for Route 66, and we're sitting here,
right? But
it's
interesting. Like, politics is my big thing right now, and I apologize to anyone who's friends with me on Twitter. I promise, once my side wins on Twitter, I don't care about politics anymore. But But you're seeing in the world, you're seeing this huge
Right.
swing back to the right. And I mean, that's just the way it
Yeah.
works. That's the way the pendulum goes. I don't know why anyone doesn't see that eventuality that it's always
Right.
going to swing back. And it's coming back with a vengeance. In my country, for example,
Oh, yeah.
the government's ground to a halt right now because there's been so many scandals and so many millions of dollars stolen. I know it pales in comparison how much money has been stolen in the United States, but still, for a population smaller in California, it's a lot of money these people have stolen from us. So, like over a week, they've completely shut down our parliament, basically trying to get paperwork to the police department.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have an election very soon ourselves. So we've got the only 18 to 34 demographic that's actually voting conservative because they're just fed up. And they even say, we're not conservatives, but these people need to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, what goes around comes around.
Right.
That's just the way the world works. So.
Exactly. Congrats to John Longbox back into the 1500. He's another good one. Very. He's like another Bancroft for me. I respect that guy so much.
Very knowledgeable.
His geek bona fides. I mean, who am I going to follow? Somebody that's got like 2 or 3 comic shelves on the back, or this guy that's got like Nerdvana. It's like holy shit.
His first book is going to be here soon, right? Like, I mean, we all back that,
yeah.
so that's going to be exciting.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that. A guy with true comic love in his heart just made a book, and I'm all about that. New Blood is fine. Festering Piss, that's around today, not so much. Golly, did I just come out loud? Yes, you did. And we are totally agreeing with that. 24-25's future orange. Good possibility. Good possibility.
I am,
if they don't steal it. If they don't steal it, and I don't think they're going to allow them to steal it. I think there's going to be riots this time if they try to steal it. MR, are you in Canada? Yes, he is.
I am. Yeah, I'm just east of Maine. I'm interesting. I'm in. I'll talk a bit about that. I'm New Brunswick. What would have been the 14th colony to sign the Declaration of Independence? It's arguable whether or not we wanted to or not. I like the story that there were British garrisons stopping us from going to Pennsylvania, and by God, we would have signed it where I lived. But we got robbed.
That was early on.
War,
the first fighting that happened, the Revolutionary War, happened in Canada.
Yeah.
Well,
this is one of the colonies.
So a lot of Canada would have been part of the 13 colonies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So well, you still are. We still claim you anyway. Thanks. Good pay. No problem. Love you too. Also. Oh, definitely. Paid for printing Monday. Ouch. Nice. Sorry about that, dude. Good for us, but not so good for you. Got it. Cool. Road trip. I am in New York.
Yeah, you head up the I-95. You just cross the border. You drive like another 20 minutes, and you're pretty much at my house. Like I'm not that far.
There you go. There you go. And he's Canada. He's Canadian. He'll have to help you. He'll have to let you come in. I mean, that's Canada thing. Anyway, so this right here. Let's talk about this a little bit. This is the graphic novel, but I do have your floppies as well. And like I said in my review first time. Yeah, like I said in the review, your writing is more floppy centric than it is graphic novel centric, and so I was surprised that the floppies seemed to be actually seem to fit your format better than the graphic novel. That's usually I usually like the graphic novel better, but I actually like.
I'm not a big trade paperback person. I am a floppy reader. I prefer that format.
Right?
Yeah, but I was doing
great covers. Look at that.
I was doing what I thought we had to do, right? So I was told that you had to make a trade paperback. It had to be so many pages. Nobody bought floppies. No one was interested. You remember how everyone was saying all this,
I remember.
Right?
I remember
that. Watching, nobody artists would get bam, right? They just hit 10 grand. And I was like, okay, this is not going to be much of a gamble. So I kind of reached a little further. I wish I'd started slow and started with floppies and smaller books. But yeah, absolutely. Right. I've switched over to floppies now. I will put 5 4, 5, and 6 together in a trade once I finish. But I'm not going to start a trade first. It'll be floppies first, the same way the way mainstream does it. Yeah.
Cruel floppy is a smaller format book. It's like the monthly size, around 20, 22, 23 pages, something like that.
32.
And or 32,
right
yeah.
up.
And so there you go. And they were meant to be kind of like disposable, but they became like really sought after commodities, especially with covers and things like that. So I write floppy, self-contained stories. I don't think it's fair to ask people to wait months, if not years, between issues. Yeah. Unfortunately, my first issue has been a struggle to birth. And I got like 32 pages planned, and I'm working on 20, 21, 22 right now, so I'm getting there. But it's
a lot of work.
It's getting that first book, trying to launch this universe, and people don't understand. My universe is a 747, and I'm trying to basically land it on a dime, okay, or a stamp, okay. So I'm trying to land it like all this story. I'm trying to launch everything, get everything, all the things introduced in just the first book, and as soon as I get beyond this book, I can speed up. But that first book is a bitch. Anyway, getting there.
It's true. Well, it does. It takes up, because not only are you trying to, like with that first book you were saying, not only are you trying to tell a compelling story, and you want to have a start, a middle, and an end, and something that leaves with a cliffhanger, but you've also got to have your character intros. So you've got to introduce your characters, make people relate to your characters, make them like them, and then tell a compelling story. But once you've got the character introduction piece out of the way, you can just concentrate on the storytelling, right? So
well, my problem is I'm not a linear storyteller. That's my biggest problem. All my stories come out with a little bit of a time twist to them, and that's just how they come out of me, right? That's how they come through me. That's how I channel them, the stories that come to me, and so because of that, you basically have to not only you have to write things concurrently. You have to like make sure you dot every I and cross every T, and it's all got to land. At the right place. I see people that try to tell nonlinear stories, and they don't like take care of the details, and then you end at at the end of it, you're like, okay, this was a drop thread. This was a drop thread. This was a drop thread.
Loose ends drive me nuts.
Where the heck is these things?
What happened to this storyline? Well, what the hell happened there? Well, why the hell did they go on that journey and go all the way and come back, and we're right back? Like, you could have just left that out in the first place. You didn't need to throw that. I can feel that.
Right. Right. Holy and glorious Rex Batman. Yeah, I said it anyway. That book just killed me. That killed me, man.
I made good money off Inglorious Rex.
Oh, is that all you have to do?
I sold it on eBay for like $100.
Oh, he's made a ton of money.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh really? Well, shit. Maybe I need to sell mine.
I put a lot of
I want
books
my
up on
comic to be
eBay.
like Marvel in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Oh really? Yeah,
I got an eBay store.
I got a bunch of frog comics that would probably fly. Oh really?
Yeah, I got like 200 on there. So the stuff, like I treat my collection more like as if it was a store, because it really is. In eBay, anyone in Canada, United States can browse in it. And any of the stuff that, hey, if somebody just said, hey, I'll buy that off you for 20 or 30 bucks, throw it on there. Right. It's still in your collection. If someone grabs it, great. If they don't, who cares, right? So,
right.
Yeah, it's helped me create.
Right. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I thought you were done with your comment.
It's all good. Sorry.
Didn't mean to step on you. I want my comic to be like Marvel early 80s, self-contained yet linked to what came before, a complete story. I hope to at least you satisfied. Well, I actually read some stuff during gosh, you make it sound so easy. Yeah, right. No. Writing is not hard. Writing good is a bitch. Right. Okay. and as proven by a lot of big comic creators right now putting out crap. Anyway, but basically, I read a comic. When I had nothing to do, all my electronics were turned off and everything. I was like reading out on my back porch with the natural light, and I read the Second Coming. This was like the end of the X-Force arc, in early 2010s, I think, and this was like the Hope storyline. The end of the right before everything went to the Krakatoa, I think. But this was the Hope Summers arc. It's like the end of that, and it was I got the collected trade, and I was reading this, and it was brilliant. It was like freaking brilliant. I mean, Zeb Wells was in there, but evidently he was like, whoever the editor was kept him in line, kept his worst tendencies in line, because it reminded me of old school, and this was not that long ago. This was like 2012. This is right
everything went to
before
shit.
Sama Amanat.
Right.
It's right before Sama Amanat showed up, and everything went to shit.
All the books, even the comic book store. Yeah, I was still 2012. I had my regular issues like Spawn, The Walking Dead. I think was still out. Yeah, I was still going to my local comic store before they told me I wasn't welcome, and then everything got pastel and lame looking. And okay, I don't like anything that's on these shelves. This doesn't appeal to me.
When comics went bad, it went bad so fast that we kept buying them for at least a year or two before we realized that, what the hell am I buying this stuff for?
Well, just the amount of back issues. Like I had a pull box, and I was down to like Hellraiser, Spawn, and The Walking Dead. And like, I used to have like 10 titles, 12 titles on the go. So to be down to 3, and then Hellraiser, boom, kicked that and got rid of it. Okay, so I was down to and I was still reading Star Wars. So so that too. But and then The Walking Dead ended, even though he promised he was going to keep it going forever. That and then that I was like, okay, I got no reason to come here anymore. Like, I guess I'm done with comics after reading them since the 80s. And I thought I was done until I found Comicsgate online. Yeah.
There you go. Well, I walked away from comics when Captain America said Hail Hydra, and I walked away. I mean, just completely cold turkey. It killed me so bad. I mean, I literally left work with my stomach messed up when I read that they were doing that.
Well, it was deliberate too. They were taking all our superheroes and killing them. I mean, it's the same thing with me in Star Wars. Like,
but see, that was the first shot. Yeah, that was the first shot. Because I realized if editorial was going to allow that, then we were gone. It was gone. It was too gone. And I came back to it a year later, like less than a year later, and then the all new Marvel Now had happened, and everybody was swapped out. Yeah. I mean, it was just a matter of months, and they swapped out the whole line. Everybody swapped, and I mean, Iron Man, Ironheart, Amadeus Cho is now Hulk, and all this other stuff, and it was just like it was a bomb went off, and I think
there were two reasons. One, that they wanted to push out any royalties.
Go ahead.
They wanted to push out any royalties. They wanted to kill off anything that they owed money on. And then 2, they also wanted to break a whole bunch of hearts. And there was a bit of political, knife turning, like, we're going to show you people. And then 3 was pushing this insane agenda. So, these were all the reasons. It wasn't just something that happened by accident. It wasn't just activists. There was a deliberate intent, basically, just to turn everything upside down. And it worked, right?
Right.
It shocked the hell out of all of us.
It's like the story that Ethan. Oh yeah, it was like overnight. Ethan told that story that Bancroft did an illustration of. You need to find that. But about all the people coming to Marvel and DC in this big meeting, or the distributor meeting, and telling them we can't sell this shit. Yeah, people are the movies are taking off. and they're coming into our comic shops, and it's like, where's my Iron Man? Where's Tony Stark Iron Man?
People are canceling their
there's
pull
this
bins.
black
They're like,
chick
yeah,
named Ironheart. It's
I
like,
don't want this anymore. I don't want this anymore. I don't want this
exactly.
anymore. Yeah.
And the comic shops were like, we can't sell this shit. And they said, oh, you're a bunch of racist bigots. You're a bunch of racist bigots, it's your fault, that you can't sell this stuff because it should be flying off the shelves, and it's your fault it's not flying off the shelves. And no, we're not going to
That's the thing about building a following.
We're not going to.
It could take
Go ahead.
a long time to build a following. Like some bands, they don't even get big for like 13 years. But some of these, heroes like Batman, Superman, like it took like 60 years to build the following. And once you piss off that audience, once you piss off 50, they're not coming back. And there's no one to replace that audience, right? So really, like everything.
Wait.
Yeah.
The modern audience is going to replace them.
Right.
Come on. The modern audience. Come on, man. Come on, man.
The ones glued to their cell phones and their TVs. Yes. And the internet. Yeah.
This modern audience has been catered to for the last decade, and it is yet to ever have a hit. That modern audience, okay? Those guys. They're out there. These people have so much faith. I mean, they kind of take a dump on Christianity, but they have more faith than I do. Okay, they believe in its modern audience, and they're just throwing millions and billions and billions of dollars.
They just assume that's just how it works. Yeah.
I swear they're out there. They're out there somewhere, Craig. They're out there. Right. And all we got to do is keep catering, and they're just going to show up one day. And it's going to be good. The money's just going to fall out of heaven, even though they're a bunch of communist baristas. They're going to start throwing money at us any day now. All right. And the ESG will keep us afloat till then. And the ESG's like, wait a second now. This experiment was only supposed to be 5 years.
Right. Yeah. There's companies that are like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah, we're not doing this anymore.
And people don't understand the gaming industry is such a bad shape right now because all of this started in 2016. All of these projects that are hitting now and they're god awful started like that whole entire Concord thing started 8 years ago. 8 years ago. And it's just now hitting, and people are like, holy crap. And it's because 8 years ago, all these activists just flooded into the gaming industry, and now we're getting the product of that. And so this is the cancer that is metastasized, and it's killing, and a lot of times you don't know that this cancer is in your body until you get the diagnosis. You got a couple weeks to live, and that's what we're seeing in AAA gaming is they had cancer, and they had cancer for 8 years, and now it's like well, it's fatal. I'm sorry, it's fatal, and people. But
it will balance itself out, and someone else will sweep in there. Someone else will sweep in there and fill that void, and now your customers are gone.
And here we are. And here we are. Go ahead. Yeah. Well, a second. Let me see. Comics got so bad so fast, and I was like, it just went off a cliff. Yeah, they did. They went off a cliff. And with applause. Everybody applauded them going off a cliff. Sounds familiar? Star Wars, anyone? Yes. We're about to talk about that. There's a reason for this rant. There's a reason for this rant, and the reason I'm having this rant with Craig in particular. The only response to that is we are bigots, and so what? We're not going to buy that. That's our anyway. Years to build, seconds to destroy. Yeah, that's the same with everything. All
it takes. Restaurant, anything.
Think of how long it. Yeah.
Well, I could go to the same restaurant.
How long the Notre Dame had been there?
Yeah,
gone.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. I visited that. Yeah, early 2000s. Yeah. Sad. But
it was astonishing, beautiful work. We can't do that now. We can't make something like that now. What was you saying about the restaurant?
Oh, same thing with like a restaurant. Like restaurant I went to like every Friday for years, and just one bad experience. That's it. Done. Never went back. Right.
Mhm.
That's all it takes. But
Yeah. Well, what happened is basically there's this restaurant we enjoyed, we liked, that we went to, that we knew the menu, and we loved, and we spent money at, and we showed up one day and they told us that, we're vegan now,
mm,
and if you don't eat here, then you're for animal cruelty, you know,
yeah.
and yeah, so keep spending your money. Keep spending your money because we're making this moral stand and that you had nothing to do with, and but you still have to you have to spend your money here because otherwise there's something wrong with you morally. And
Is that restaurant still there?
I'm like I'm just, if the restaurant were to do that, it's not like
You're right.
some Denny's did that basically. That's what Denny's basically did.
Yeah.
They started having all this ethnic food coming into their menu, and their whole diner stuff just kind of like got shoved off to the side. And then it's a ghost town now. They're shutting them left and right. You know,
KFC's going halal. I don't know. Is that happening in the States too? They're going halal. Like what the hell?
no, our KFC, you know, I haven't been there in years. They changed their special. They changed the breading, and it's they changed the breading, and the new breading was like a salt lick. So no, thank you. Anyway, that's a good point, Coop. You have more faith in the Christians. They do. They literally do. And yeah, but you got to go talk about the restaurant on Trashcast every night for a year, right? Right. Exactly. And one of the things about this outrage model that's really like, you know, these guys are keeping the mainstream flame alive. Okay. And as soon as the mainstream improves, or as soon as the mainstream self corrects, then they'll go right back to shilling for it. And so I'm not about that. Okay.
I still think it's on life support. Like we all keep saying, like, you know, DC and all that's going to fold. It's going to fold. It hasn't folded yet. But when it comes to the big corporations that oversee and rule over them, you can tell they really don't have any interest in it anymore. There's no good
No.
ideas coming out anymore. They're not getting any huge blockbuster hits.
Right.
You know, sure, it's making money, but when it comes to multi-billion-dollar companies, you know, anything that's less than $100 million, they're not interested in that. You know?
No. And well, one thing that you did is you lit your candle. Okay.
Yes.
You know, you saw where Star Wars went, and
Yeah,
and you love Star Wars with all your heart, and then Star Wars
my whole
suddenly
life.
didn't love you anymore.
Right. I was a
Yeah,
40-year Star Wars fan. I
And
mean, I love George Lucas
Mhm.
and Star Wars, and the fact that he had a Bible, the canon
Yeah.
according to George Lucas, and he promised there would never be any contradictions and everything would fit into the universe because it's something that happened a long
Mhm.
time ago. It's not even like we're writing something new. It's already happened. The book already
Right.
exists, right? So, and
Right.
he very much stuck true to that. And then
Yeah.
to undo
Well, even
all
with
of
the
that.
EU books, even with the
Yes.
EU books,
Yes.
they had to approve of all the EU books, and they went through a canon process.
Yep. Yep.
When an EU book came out, they had to go to Lucasfilm and they had to approve it
There's
to
no
make sure it fit.
retconning. There was no, yeah.
No.
It was great. It was wonderful.
And then
I was happy
somebody,
being a Star Wars fan. Yeah.
oh yeah, and then somebody showed up with a Brinks truck full of money and said, "Hey, George, you're about ready to retire anyway. How about we allow you to pick whoever you want to be over Lucasfilm, and we'll buy it off of you, and then you can retire. You can fiddly fart off." And he's like, "Hey, I've got this chick over here that's been with me from the near the beginning, and I'm sure she'll take care of it, even though she has this rabid feminist agenda." And is completely incompetent. We just let her take dictation. You just expect her to have any ambition whatsoever. It's incompetent and ignorant as she is. And
I watched that meeting a few times with her and Eisner and then Lucas,
uh,
and you can just see the evil and like they just sign the papers, Luke. Just sign the papers, George. Oh yeah, your
yeah.
scripts. Oh yeah, we're gonna stay faithful to your character. Like
Mhm.
they just
Yeah.
whatever told him whatever that he needed to hear, and the minute he
Yeah.
was gone, couldn't wait to destroy it. They couldn't wait to undo it, make something else.
If people want to know, who Kathleen Kennedy is, the acolyte is
Mhm.
everything that she represents. I mean, she got the girl that she wanted, who oh by the way was the door holder for Epstein. Okay,
Mhm.
that's the person that she wanted for this project, and she
Yeah.
basically gave her carte blanche.
Yeah.
I mean,
And she
this
had no
chick
what
that
hits? What
basically
hits? Leslie Headland. Yeah, what hits does she have? What big successful movies does she have in her back
yeah,
pocket? Anything? Nothing?
yeah.
Mm.
She had a couple streaming shows that they threw awards at her for. But she served up young actresses to Epstein. Okay, and
Mhm.
Epstein got gacked and thrown in prison, and she gets a promotion.
Yeah,
Okay,
Weinstein, you mean
and
Weinstein. Yeah.
Acolyte was her promotion.
Yeah.
Weinstein. I'm sorry, not
Yeah.
I get them mixed up. Weinstein,
Yeah.
Epstein.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
all part of the same Hydra.
It's true.
But the thing about it is this chick spent $280 million on a show, basically serving up her friends and living like gangsters over in London. And oh, by the way, it turns out that 280 million estimated, that was in pounds.
Mm,
And so,
that's
it was
crazy.
probably worse in American.
Imagine what you
It's
could
like
do with that
American,
kind of
that would be
money.
more. But
Yeah.
that
Oh, imagine what you could create with that.
seriously, how many
Yeah.
how many good shows could you have done with that? And so everything you see in the Acolyte, that's Kathleen Kennedy. That is her philosophy,
One
her
season.
life philosophy. All the
One season dead.
one season, but 280 million. That sums up. It's a microcosm for everything.
Well, like I said, it's a cancer, right? Like let them
and
burn
she's
through all
not
that
done.
money and not profitable, and eventually these
Cancer.
corporations are going to take a look at their
Mhm.
losses and they're going to say, "Okay, the party's over, folks.
Yep.
Like we're going to go back to making money again because we got to keep the lights on."
Right. Well, when you get Inside Out 2, that broke all box office records, and oh, by the way, it turns out in production they said get that gay shit out of it, and
So
then you
I've got this.
look at Deadpool Wolverine.
I've got this theory. Like I know we all hate
Mhm.
artificial intelligence, but there is going to be a time where the AI, you could
Yeah.
take a comic book and you could scan it into the AI and be like, okay, turn this into a CGI movie. And it will be able to do that. It will be able to take the dialogue and the rendering, the feel and the tone. And it can't think for
Mhm.
itself, but it can. So maybe I'll be alive. Like 20 years from now, I could take all these comics and feed them into
Mhm.
an AI machine and just turn all those into the brand new CGI movies. So who knows? Very well, all the stuff we could be creating, typically with a lot of artists, it happens after
Do-
their time has come and gone.
Do
But
you
never
want
know.
Dexter the Death Dealer to be an AI? Are you kidding me?
A really
You want
good
that too?
CGI? Well, it can't be worse than what Hollywood's doing, But
Well, granted,
at least
yeah.
AI can't insert
Um,
itself into the art, right? It's
Anyway,
just a
hold on
machine.
a second. I was born in 1977.
Yeah. 5 days before the original release.
Right. It can only
Our birthdays are
only
very
do what's
close.
inputted.
I was born 76, late 76.
Yep, 5
so
days from original release. Right.
probably about a month apart. Yeah.
Yep. I miss Star Wars, to be honest.
Yeah.
We
me
all
too.
miss it. We all miss it.
Well, that's why I created my comic.
yeah.
Which is again,
AKA shite.
yeah, I've always been an angry person.
Mhm.
I was an angry kid. I was an angry youth. I was a punk rocker. I was very rebellious. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to think.
Mhm.
Not very proud of my early 20s. But luckily, the military was an outlet for very angry, disaffectionated
Mhm.
youth that are very close to becoming a problem with the law. And it was the police department, all that grabbed a hold of me
Yeah.
and said, "Hey, how about you try doing this instead? Join cadets, join the military, put that energy to something positive." And I did, and thank God I did
Right.
that, because I would have ended up in jail or a drug dealer or God knows what kind of a life would have. But I've got a wonderful life now, and thankfully the military facilitated that. But it's the
Mhm.
same thing, right? I'm so angry with what they did to Star
Well,
Wars. I'm
I've been watching
so
the.
yeah, but I channeled it into something positive, right?
Mhm.
So, what were we saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I've been going down this rabbit hole. It's called the Fat Electrician, and he does these breakdowns of like these historical figures. He did like one on Ian McNeice, also known as McNasty, um,
Mhm.
and just how what a chat and his story happens over and over again, like with Audrey, with gosh, name flipped out of my head, but the most heavily decorated soldier in the World War II.
Yeah, Aubrey.
Anyway, I say his
Oh
name
my,
all the time. It just went out of my head.
yes. Hopefully, someone in the chat will help.
Yeah, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
But anyway, but all these guys, they had like their misspent youth, and they're all like, they all like had this all this energy and all this toxicity, all this, they were the running in trouble with the law and all this other stuff, and then somebody like channeled that into military pursuits, and they became like the greatest soldiers that have ever existed, and
hmm
and so all that angry energy works when you channel it in the right direction. I was pissed with Star
Absolutely.
Wars over the years, but you know what? I eventually let it go. I see bits of news in there, but that's it. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you when you channel this, obviously you got your Han Solo type of character. You got your
Hero's
Princess
journey.
Leia. Yeah.
Yep.
You got your Princess Leia kicking a lot more butt. Your Princess Leia,
Right.
and also probably a little bit more sexy.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Maybe not. She doesn't have a metal bikini, but she's
Right.
pretty darn sexy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Did you
you
did
got.
did you
Go
ever
ahead.
get the 4th issue? Did that ever show up? Because I know I sent it to you.
No. Yep. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right
a
off
little bit.
right off page 1, letting people know.
Pay
Right?
to it. Yeah, you're getting it. Yeah, I did get it. Revenge. Yeah, I did get that one.
Yeah.
And so I'm like four books in, I think.
Yep. Yep.
And the first book was really solid. I thought you
thank
ended at a place. I was a little surprised that you went beyond that because I thought you kind of like ended at a, kind of you kind of like closed the loop. And so when you continued on, I was a little surprised.
Yep.
I thought it was like a pretty self-contained story, but I can see the threads that you picked up, like with her world and everything and all the things going on there.
It's like any other
Uh,
trilogy. So issues 1, 2, and 3 in that trade paperback, to me, that was A New Hope. So like
mhm.
it was the same way when George Lucas made Star Wars. He even made the first movie. If there never was a sequel,
Right.
that was just supposed to stand alone and be A New Hope. And so I very much
Mhm.
channeled that. And it was the same thing with the trade paperback. If it was only that first trade and I never made
Right.
anything else, I probably like. Thank goodness Luke stepped in. I don't know if you realize how many ways Luke did save me, very much so, by stepping in. I was going to overprint the hell out of that book,
Yeah.
and thank God I didn't. Again, if anyone
Mhm.
out there is creating, it is true. Just print based on the crowdfunding, and print maybe a little bit of an overprint, 10 or 20% tops. Don't go printing
Right.
thousands or hundreds of copies of this book. And I mean, to this day, I've
Mhm.
still got 80 copies of that trade paperback. Because I printed 300 copies, but I was going to print like 2,500 copies of that book. Could you imagine? I'd
Right.
still be sitting on 2,200 copies of it. So Luke stepped in, and it's like, no, 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 no,
Mhm.
no. Learn from me. Do not make a crazy overprint. So I went from almost printing,
Yeah.
2,500 books down to under 1,000, which saved me a lot of money. And then he in turn said, "Hey, can you just please promise to make issue 4?" That was his only ask. That was his only ask for all the help he did for
Mhm.
me. And then he wasn't happy with how I marketed and sold it. I mean, we can get on those details. But bottom line is that's why I ended up making issue 4, was because Luke asked me to. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, the thing about that overprint with Luke, it was because of that lie. That deal is based on
Well,
a lie that
well
he
just
did.
Well, it's just you're stuck with them. I mean,
Yeah,
like
you are.
now you have to
Mhm.
push all those books, and now it's holding you back. So if I had
Right.
thousands of dollars wrapped up in inventory, that's thousands of dollars I can't put to future production. If the intent
Right.
is to keep creating, keep creating the snowball, you don't
Yeah.
want that first snowball to basically absorb your entire budget. So like,
Well, having a physical asset that you can like set up a table somewhere and have that's one thing I'm missing right now.
yeah,
Is not having a physical asset
yeah.
that I'm production, and so I don't have people that are like well, I wait till it's actually physical so I can get a copy of it. So
But so for
it's all speculation. So that's a little that's a little
so
problem with crowdfunding.
So for myself, for example, like I'm going to all the local municipal markets, like the ones held by the cities and the towns, and these are they sell food and music and
Hmm.
stuff. But I'm meeting a population doesn't know anything about me. They're just seeing
Right.
me, my banner, and my
Mhm.
table with my comics. And I have people coming back asking
Mhm.
for more. I'm telling me they love the story. I had a guy who bought all the issues, came back next week. He was looking for issue 5.
Yeah.
These are genuine people who just love the book. They don't know anything
Hmm.
about me, and that is very positive feedback.
Right.
When complete strangers, and I did very well this summer. I did 2
Yeah.
summers. I did the market, and I did very well just doing that. And
Hmm.
I mean, that's the kind of positive reinforcement I need that tells me maybe I'm onto something. So
Hmm. Well, we just gotta get them in front of people. I mean,
yeah,
the people they don't you know they don't hate comics. They just don't know that there still
right.
exist. And because there's this perception when they went into the comic shops and stopped being on the shelves where people browse and where people walk by, then
Every
you lost
convenience
that
store,
ability
every
for a new people to
pharmacy,
come
every
in.
drugstore, every I mean, you could
Yeah,
walk into any
had a
store,
rack. Yep.
grocery store. Yeah, it was everywhere, and now it's
Hmm.
just in comic stores, right, or the bookstores, right?
And the
Yeah,
comic stores are dying, and they're dying
yeah,
because of it.
yeah.
Because of that lack of influx. Which the movies were supposed to fix, but then Marvel and DC pulled a bait and switch on everybody.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, what what's we can we can spend hours on that. Hold on a second. Here we go. Yep. There are only 3 Star Wars movies. Just accept that and be happy. Yep. Yep. Agreed. 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 I don't know. I'm okay with the sequels. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm okay with
I like them.
the prequels. The prequels. I'm okay with
Attack
them.
of the Clones is
There's
just
some
as
good
bad
moments
as
there.
anything Disney's done. Attack of the Clones is just as awful as Disney. Like, we can
Oh
be
yeah,
honest there. That was awful, but
yeah. It's bad. It's really
yeah.
bad. Yeah. Uh, yeah. She has impressive assets. You got a fan with there. Here you go. There you go. Luke is a good guy.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely, definitely agreed. One of the best guys I've ever met. FMC is my home going forward due to Luke being a
Nice.
solid guy, right? Hey, Genuine Comics, that's
Hey,
another guy. That's another
Dave.
classy guy, and another guy that everybody needs to emulate if they can.
Yeah, he's finding his own
Um,
success and his own following, and he's doing it independent. Like, I
yep.
mean, these are the people I look at. Like, that's what I
Mhm.
want. I want to build that kind of a network. That's my own solid foundation.
Oh
That's
yeah.
not dependent on anybody. But I mean, at the same time, I
Nope.
mean, never forget. Like you've got to all build it all together. But yeah, no, I definitely watch what everyone's doing out there. It's
Mhm.
exciting.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And I just want people to like visit my world. I think they'll just fall
Yes.
in love with it. I know I'm in love with it. Um, I can't wait to do a convention. There you go.
Mm.
I heard someone say genuine. Yeah, there you go. Perfect name for his comics. Perfect name for his comic book company. Really, honestly.
Mhm.
And let's see. I told the Black Flag principle. Promote anywhere and everywhere. Right.
Nice.
Black Flag. Yeah, they would play anywhere. They'd play on a street corner. They'd play. They'd play like country music clubs.
Hmm.
With their rabid punk. Rap singing and stuff like that. I mean,
We're gonna
yep,
have
yep.
a
That's why we still
TV
know.
party today.
Right, exactly. People still love comics. They're just too expensive and gay now. Well, no, there you go. There you go. That's like, how could new comic book readers nowadays, when we ourselves wouldn't even read them anymore, right? True. I read more when my lights were out than I have in a long time. I'm ashamed to say. I read comics. I spend all my free time reading comics. Yeah, honestly. New comics don't bring in readers, John. Anyway, so basically, I honestly think that we're in the catbird seat here, and I'm not talking about any of the big names that we got in this space that tend to dominate the conversation. I'm talking about some people like Dave from Genuine Comics, like Arvid. Arvid is about to put out Band of Crows. I've been waiting for that book. I mean, Arvid used to write for the mainstream. He wrote for the mainstream a while. That guy's got game, and so he's about to put his book out. And John's Lone Box is a comic lover who knows when comics were good, knows what made comics good, and now he's writing comics. I want to see what that guy puts together, or some little weird nerd like Matt Simonek, also known as Shadowpunk, who just sat in Detroit for 5 freaking years crafting a 3D animated movie, and then drew a comic that is like unlike anything I've ever seen. I think it's the most unique comic I've seen since Eisner, in the art wise.
Wow.
And the angles he took. He had this one splash page, and it was like this foreground image of a rat coming out of a sewer pipe. And then the actual action you're supposed to be watching is way back here of her jumping across the space. And I'm like, who thinks of that? And it's an upward angle. It's kind of an upward angle, and it's just brilliant, right? And it's like, why did you have the rat down here and then up there? And it's like, the reason why is it's immersive. You're like there now. You're in that world, and it's genius. And the sucker will not reprint that stupid first run, and it drives me crazy. I'm like, more people need to see this damn thing. But I've said my piece. That's why he didn't come on my show anymore, probably. But
I've been wanting to reach out to him as well. Yeah, Shadowpunk.
He's a genius. I tell you, that movie is absolutely brilliant. And he spent 4 years on that thing, animating it himself. Every I dotted, every T crossed. It's as good as anything I've ever seen out of the mainstream.
Available for free, or does he have it uploaded? Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's on his channel. 9 minutes. It's a 9-minute movie, and he spent 4 years on it. And I mean, the hair moves. There's like grimy stuff. There's little pebbles, and I mean, the more you look at it. Oh yeah, the more you look at it, the more. And then when you watch that movie and then you read the comic, there's this gut punch at the end of it that just like, I literally, after I read it, I sat there stunned. I actually sat there and turned out the light and sat there in the dark and just tried to like process it.
Well, he even found his way into my own comics. See, there's Shadowpunk right there. He's even got advertising in my book, right. And I haven't seen his movie. It's terrible.
Yeah. Watch the movie and then read the comic. It's on Shadowpunk's website or Shadowpunk's channel.
YouTube.
Yeah, watch it. Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's free on YouTube. He built it to kind of like promote his comic, and then nobody would show it. None of the big guys would even show it. And trust me, as insecure as those guys are, and you see somebody come in with a fucking 3D movie that he put together. I think that's the reason he was offering them like free 3D figurines of their characters if they would just like have him on, and none of them would have him on.
I don't hold any animus. I think basically they seen the flood coming. Like COVID happened, right? A whole bunch of us wound up with a lot of spare time in COVID, and a lot of people with creative blood in their veins said, "Hey, I'm gonna try making a comic book." And I think if you look at from their shoes, because everyone's up in their DMs, right? So they're watching, hey, this person's making a comic, this person, and they just saw this torrent you know what I mean? Like hundreds of people are coming with these comics. And I think they just basically said, all right, get in the castle,
And they
fill the
pulled
boat,
yeah.
raise them drawbridges, Yeah, it's understandable. I don't
Yeah.
care. It's fine.
I get it. I mean, I get the sheer, like, the whole the what was it, capitalism? I mean, the capitalist thing behind it. But when they're vocally saying that they want everybody that a rising tide lifts all ships, but then they pull up the hatchets. But they're still on the battlement saying, "Hey, we're all for you. We're all for you. We want to promote you." And they're on the battlements, and you're down here, and you're like, "As long as you can get to us, we'll promote you, right?" And it's like, dude, there ain't no us. There's you, and then there's us down here,
And then you have the natural
that
animus,
was
and
my
then you saw
problem.
that
That's my
the
problem.
natural animus and the bitterness and people pounding on the doors. How dare you not let us in? And that, I mean, it's all just natural. I mean, and like you said, there's people that feed on the drama. I just looked at it all, and I said, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm gonna just do my own thing, which is why I started making my own YouTube show. So yeah.
Hold on a second. Let me see here. So I push your comics as much as I can, Dave. Right, John's Longbox. Yeah, I do too. Yep, and
We all gotta
appreciate
promote
it.
each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely a good guy. Definitely good. And we do. We honestly do.
Look at how long the British kept the Romans at
not
bay,
rely
right?
on
Like
us.
the British didn't keep them at bay forever, but they maintained their tribes. They
Mhm.
did not unify into one singular tribe. They made it work, all with their own separate. They had to have lots and lots and lots and lots of meetings, but they made it work. We just got to do the same thing. We just got to have lots and lots of channels and lots of networking. And at the end of the day, like you watch Aaron Mortal Rising, one of my co-hosts, he just broke the 4K mark. That was not easy. He goes on show after show after show after show. And I don't know if you're watching what me, Jason, and Aaron are doing, but we're very much bridging out to artists and creators and stuff that aren't active in the community, but they are active in YouTube and they have their own communities.
Right.
And that's what we're doing, is building that network and getting those new eyes and fresh eyes and a fresh audience. Because what I'm finding is you got those clicks and they only follow that one creator and they only do whatever that one creator says. I'm not naming anyone specific, but they're happy. They're happy with the one channel and the one creator and following whatever that one creator says. So very much an echo chamber, right? You're not going to win going after the echo chambers. You're going to win by grabbing new audiences, the flash, the flare of, you know what I mean? And just bringing in more people. And that's really what ultimately we're trying to do, is just build that network and grow and grow and grow.
Well,
see what we can do.
Well, one thing that's happening with the rabbit hole that I've done deliberately is I've gone to like comic book conventions and I've done shorts live from comic book conventions, and I've like branched out, and my shorts program is basically all about just telling stories and sharing my thoughts on some stuff, and what's happened is I've got people that watch my show that have never darkened the door of Comicsgate or never don't know what the Iron Age is or who even Ripa is, But they just watch my show to watch my show. And so when I bring people like you on, they're like, "Oh, what's this? Let's check this out." And I've been able to get exposure to some my favorite creators on here. I've had Dave on Genuine Comics, and I've had I had Shadowpunk on. I had Hojo on. Jones. I haven't had John on yet. I need to. He's been on my channel. But I haven't featured him yet. I was gonna wait till I got his comic out before I did that. But I think I'm just gonna have to feature him. He's such a great producer in this area. I'm gonna have to do something. Constant rise of shipping and printing costs are concerning. Things are going to get rough. Yeah. Well, the thing about it is I think that once, if I hate to say if, but if something that happens in November that's advantageous to all of us. And you can debate about what that is. I have my own beliefs. But if that happens, and the energy independence comes back and all this other stuff that was artificially destroyed, if that all comes back and America becomes the engine that it can be, unfettered, then I think a lot of the stuff is going to drop to the floor in a very short amount of time. And I think we all should get. It'll go one way or another. It'll be the end of everything or beginning of something incredible. And
we got all these
we should
great
get on
resources.
our surfboards.
And we got all these great resources. We got nothing but trees out here, softwood lumber. We're more than happy to ship all that to the United States so you can do what you want with it. Yes, very much. We need to pull the stuff out of the ground again. It is ridiculous how much we've been crushing here in North America, our own industry, our own productivity, our own, like everything is now offshores. Everything is now imported. Our energy is imported. Our goods are imported. Our materials are raw goods, and we're keeping everything in the ground. I'm right there with you. I'm hoping next year is gonna be a good year. Let's hope.
It'll either be the beginning of something incredible or the end of everything. And I have faith in God that whatever happens, God's going to still be there. God's going to take care of it.
I don't think it'll be the end. It'll just be more of the same. More misery, more pain, more unemployment, more food banks, more tent cities, more drugs. I mean, we know what happens. If you fail to grow, it's like cancer, right? And I think we're all tired of that.
Yeah.
So.
I think we well, some people aren't because they're immune to it. But those are the ones that are voting the wrong way. All right, Coop's keeping me at arm's length. I am not. You've been on my channel multiple times. I just haven't featured you yet. But I tell you what, next Thursday, it's you and me, John. I'm going to do a feature on you next Thursday. What's next? It's going to be John's Long Box. Okay. Yeah, whether you're there or not, that's my next Thursday show. All right,
nice.
Anyway, so I'm announcing it now. So that's fake news. All right. Anyway, all right. Wow, EVS just posted attack is not helping, and there's too much negativity. Didn't he attack me last month for saying the exact same thing? EVS is like that meme where somebody's like throwing crap over the wall, and then it all gets thrown back at. It's like, oh no, we need to end the negativity, he's like negativity, So yeah, whatever. Take it with a grain of salt.
I figured out a long time ago with Ethan how Ethan operates. Like he's doing this for fun, and he does not like being told what to do by anybody, including his closest friends. And sometimes, even if it's not in his best interest, even if it's not a wise decision, even if it's catastrophic, he's just going to do it because he feels like doing it, simply to amuse himself. So
he's a brawler.
We all hung on his words, and he kept saying he didn't want to be this leader. He didn't want to be this leader. Didn't want to be his leader. It was only a matter of time, right? So sometimes you got to listen to people when they're saying these things,
Well, he said he didn't want to be a leader, but then he attacked anybody that tried to take a leadership position. So there it is.
He's an entertainer. It is what it is.
He is. It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't drink Kool-Aid either way. And somebody puts a purple Kool-Aid trough in front of me, I don't drink it. That's a general rule. I just don't.
I'm the same way. I try again, like I said, I'm very much always been very much an individual and not part of a collective group. And that is probably the one thing is, I kind of got pulled into something that was collective when really we all just want to do our own thing, sort of, But yeah. I learned.
Well, I believe that from many one, which is I think the Alex de Tocqueville, the philosophy from many one, and that means that you don't stop being the many to become the one. You just basically you stay individual, but you all push for the same cause and for the same goal. Me, I believe, with all my heart, and I'm going to advocate for this. That FMC is the biggest thing we need to push right now.
It would be nice.
We need that. we need to get that platform up and where it belongs.
It would just create
And,
a central location. If you just get all the books there, you could get everyone there, and then we've been talking. And Luke's even acknowledged, like he's heard the feedback of the same book up on the front too long and rotating the stock, and people are getting upset because their book's not on the front page and all these things. There's always room for improvement. But I mean, if you look at a site that didn't even exist 2 years ago to how far he's come already, and he's already looking into the add-ons because he's also taken that feedback where. Remember, he wanted to measure everything and then would figure out your calculated weight, the shipping. The intent was there, but at the end of the day, the customers just want add-ons. They just want the ability to click one thing and add, and bring it to the cash register. So he's looking into that now.
Right.
You can't do that with Kickstarter. They don't care what you got to say. You can't do that with Indiegogo. Fun My Comics, the only site that you can actually physically talk to the people that own it and potentially influence them changing it. That's a big deal. So. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
I have seen Luke take a suggestion. He started out with a list of suggestions.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think the permanent store model on FMC is going to be the way of the future, where people create their stock and then basically use FMC as their storefront. I think that's probably going to be the way of the future. I see that as being that's Iconic Comics kind of like did something similar to that. They were the first ones I saw do that, and where they had product in hand and then they went for the funding. Now, they were the first ones I saw do that.
The only thing you lose out on, but I mean, I don't think it really works anymore, is that hype engine where you have that break between campaigns and then people, build up the height and the excitement. And then you have 10 days to launch and the countdown timer. And then you have that launch stream and everybody shows up. And then, you know what I mean? And then boom, you have the 24-hour variant. And then, you know what I mean? The whole, it's only 30 days. And I don't know if it's going to go for another 30, You kind of lose out on that with the store once people realize that they can just dip in there anytime they want and buy the book. So that's the only trade.
Unless you do a limited variant. Unless you do a limited variant that's only available a short amount of time and you launch that. But then you're but then you have the book available after that. But if you make it, you can still make it an event. You just have to plan it differently.
That's right.
But either way, I think that's probably my belief is that's where we're going. When
definitely, if
when we
someone
were
out there
having
wants
the
to
talk
buy your
with
book,
Luke about doing this,
if somebody out there wants to buy your book, you want to be able to sell it to them. There's nothing worse than somebody out there wants to buy your book and they can't get your book. Now you've just missed out on some money, unfortunately. So.
Well, we tried that with CG Now. That was something Bancroft put together at CG Now. I haven't heard anybody talking about that for a while. I think
I
it's
never
still
used
up,
it.
though. But that's the idea. FMC.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the idea. FMC is doing is basically a CG Now plus a crowdfunding model, and it just
it
best of both
the
worlds. I
Indiegogo
think.
and
Anyway, well, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a rating, carrot rating. This is 1 out of 6 for your book, and let me go ahead and give that to you right quick. Come on, this as soon as StreamYards behaves. Come on, StreamYards, help me out here. It's crawling today. Come on, StreamYards. Yeah. I don't know. It's it might crash out on me. It might crash out on me. If StreamYards doesn't react right away, this possibility it's going to crash. Yeah, I know.
We didn't really talk too
Hold
much
on
about the book. Talk more about everything
Let me try
else.
this again.
Yeah.
Well, in a lot of ways, we talked about the book. We did talk about the book. We just didn't kind of roundabout way. But yeah,
it's everything
Soltac,
I love about
my rating. Go ahead.
It's everything I love about science fiction. I mean, from Star Wars, but Planet of the Apes, The Borg, Escape from New York. I mean, as you read it, you could see everything that's influenced me in the science fiction. I took everything I loved and I threw it all together and I made it my own.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah, you did. You did. And for this whole entire series, I'm going to give it a.
Nice. I'll take that. 5 out of 6 carrots. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it definitely has some. Come on. All right. I think it's definitely got a lot of incredible potential. I don't think you've reached the heights that you're capable of with this one yet. And that's why I'm giving you room to grow on it. Definitely. And I highly suggest people try it out. The link is in the description. It's also in the chat. And you've seen his philosophies. I like it when people like meet the creator, get to kind of know him as a person. Usually people are more likely to buy or back if you push the creator rather than just the creation. And if they know the creator's a good guy, then they're more likely to back the creation. So that's pretty much what this whole series is about. Best unsung creators, And I really think so. Soltac is definitely one of the best space opera style comics that are out there right now.
Thank you.
So I pretty much back every time that it comes out, except for the last one, which I missed the campaign, and then it's like, wait a second, where this campaign is,
I didn't really
I
start
think
a
back
new
to a little
campaign.
late.
Yeah,
back to
there's that whole storefront. Exactly what I just talked about. I
Yeah.
just sort of, I missed that opportunity to build that hype machine.
Right. Hold on a second. Let me see. StreamYards is too expensive now anyway. Get Streamlabs. Streamlabs is like Japanese stereo instructions. I tried Streamlabs for exactly 2 hours, and I managed to launch 38 streams on somehow. I still don't know how I did it. And so I was like, maybe not for me. I might try Restream a little later, but they don't have any direct connection to Rumble, and so that I'm looking for one that has a direct connection to Rumble. Nobody does so far. I mean, YouTube. I mean, StreamYards is got the closest connection to Rumble. Anyway, everyone, how are things? We're about to take off, man. So you're a little late to the game. Anyway, good to see you though. Good to see you.
Aaron's a great guest, too.
And
He's also
Aaron's
an
doing
awesome-
some incredible, exciting things.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow him. I did the best unsung with him too.
Nice.
Soltac should be also a board game. I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, definitely.
I'm just trying to get all 9 issues.
Anyway, yeah. Cool. Anyway, that's been Cooper for Telepathic Bunny Comics. I've been here with Mr. Mad Ruth. He's got some boys to get back to. Don't want to keep him too much longer. And leave his wife with the boys, for too much longer. It might be a divorce. So,
Oh,
anyway.
No, I'm good. But...
All right. All right, no problem. So anyway, thank you everybody for coming, and that's been Coop for Telepathic Bunny Comics. Follow the White Rabbit. Check out Soltac. Link is in the chat, also in the description. Check that campaign out on FMC Fun My Comic, the best little comic book shop on the net. And check out what's on the virtual shelves.
Get those.
There you go. Get those 2 right there, Revenge and the Collected. Also, there's there's some great covers with the floppies. It's got a great cover on just about all the floppies. So check those out. Anyway, that's been once again, that's been Coop for Telepathic Bunny Comics. We'll see you later. Follow White Rabbit. Bye, everybody. Yeah.
No, you're still live.
Oh, I am.